Welcome to Shorts Beyond Measure, where fashion, interiors, and psychology get the stylish, savvy, and slightly therapeutic touch.
We're Tara West, Caroline Baltz, and Allison Goldberg, a fashion stylist and 2 interior designers who are also trained as psychotherapists.
So let's get into what's trending, what's tired, and what's actually worth your time. Because good style and good decisions should never be short-lived.
And we are back, ladies.
Welcome back, Tara.
I know, we missed you.
I missed you guys. And guess what? We never recorded this time. It's almost high noon. And guess who's drinking a high noon?
Cheers, bitches.
So mad.
She's talking about drinking in here. And she finally got to accomplish it.
I know, but like usually we record at like 9 a.m. I feel like that does not look good.
That's more of like a mimosa.
But 11:30 looks good.
11:30 a.m. during the summer, you can crack a high noon without being an alcoholic.
I appreciate that.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome back with a high noon.
Yes.
This one's going to be good, guys.
So I think it's very cool that we get to have wonderful guests on our show, right? And it's amazing. And a lot of times they turn into people that we end up working with or collaborate with. And Allison, you've had that experience lately.
Yeah, so Caroline actually brought Lacy Garcia and that's her name, right?
Yeah.
Lacy, sorry. I just blinked on your last name. But she's of Willow, and she has started this business. You probably just sum it up quickly.
Yeah, so it's a women's financial planning firm, and it started because she really wants to empower women to understand more about finances. She just did a talk a few weeks ago and actually was encouraging me to invite friends and their daughters, like to really kind of learn and empower. And she's a force.
Yes, she's a force. And so I ended up going thanks to Caroline's invite. And Lacy was so gracious, like texting me because I had to tell her last minute if I was going or not. But it all came about for me and was meaningful to me because I am currently going through a divorce and never handled our finances. Didn't know anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I never paid a bill. I wasn't working. I was home with the kids. And so kind of going to that talk and being around these women who are, you know, they're talking about their own financial journeys and how they became independent in paying bills and understanding finances and actually having those conversations, whether divorced or not, was so meaningful to me. But a lot of the talk was centered around, have you guys read Belle Burden's Strangers?
Yes, yes.
I don't read, so I listened to it on tape, but it was amazing. And so Belle Burden, we really want to have you as our guest.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Putting that out to the universe.
But I want to say, first of all, thank you for sharing that. You know, we have all shared personal situations and you're currently going through it. So thank you for sharing. And I also think that, Caroline, we all probably know a lot of women who don't know their finances, have not paid a bill. And so you're not alone in that at all.
Yep. And I commend you for putting that out there. Like, authenticity is such a theme among what we talk about and how we are on this podcast that I appreciate that you putting that out there. And I think that for a lot of women, understanding that messy middle, right? Like not just like, oh, I'm divorced and now I'm dating and now I've got this new, and I'm like, here, no, but what's it like in the throes of when you're in that messy?
But even forget about me. Like if you're married, right? How do you have those conversations with your husband? How do you ask these things without saying, oh, I'm planning for a divorce? Because you don't have to be planning for a divorce to know your finances. And I wish I had that information 5 years ago, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So did you never know because it just didn't seem like you needed to know? It didn't cross your mind? Because I know a lot of us have grown up with moms who didn't know. So it wasn't odd to not know. It's like you just live that lifestyle.
You know, it's not. Paying taxes isn't taught in school, right? Like it was never taught to me by my parents. And my mom is like very like pro-feminism. She worked my whole life. Like she's on top of it. She, had to take insurance for psychotherapy and all this stuff. So she paid, like she knows how to do all that billing. But yeah, she was never in charge of our taxes. It was never taught to me like to be on top of your finances. So I didn't work. I was the homemaker. I took care of the kids. And then when I did go back to work, I was making, fun money. It wasn't paying our bills. I was, buying the bag that he wouldn't buy for me on my own. So that's just the way, that was the nature of our marriage. But for me, when it was over, that was my big panic, was this, oh my God, finances. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what we have. And just sitting in that room with other women that could say, hey, I've been through it, or, you know, this is what you need to do, or this is how you invest it, right? Like, she sets you up with financial planners on how to invest the money. And they're very attuned to how, to women just in general, because we weren't necessarily taught those things and we don't have the vernacular. So that kind of eased my anxiety a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Were you taught to how to pay your taxes?
Well, I told you guys my dad's a very horrible man, but the one thing he told me is you always need to know. Even if you don't want to know, you should know. Mm-hmm. And so I do know. And I'm also kind of a bulldog about it, because if something's talked about being invested, where is my money going?
Yeah.
I just want to know. I'm not going to tell you that I know every single bill but I know a lot. And it's only because of that. And one time, I mean, Kevin and I were going through a period, and I had our investment person come over and tell me everything. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's because I want to know.
But I was never even, like, my name wasn't on our savings account. I had no clue. Like, those tiny things, like, forget about where we're investing our money. Like, I didn't know that I wasn't on the savings account. So when everyone split, I had no control over any finances. Like, he's still paying my credit cards. He's like, oh, can't take an Uber or Black anymore, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get calls as soon as I make the charge.
I'm just impressed Allison knows the word vernacular now. That's how much she's learned.
I've been hanging out with you, Dave. Well, trying to keep up.
And listen, I think that like I said, so many people I know, I just happen to be, because I've been told like that.
Yeah.
Or else it wouldn't have been like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that where you're coming from is, and I also have some really good friends and clients who have been in the exact same position as you, and they didn't know, and their names weren't on things.
Right.
And also they didn't even know how to take care of the house. I mean, like really, like who knew that they're going to pay for the garbage to get? I mean, like,
so I know all of that, but nothing's in my name. So, like, we have a wire down right now. I can't even call Comcast or Xfinity, whoever it is. I can't even call them to say, come fix our wire. I have to ask him to do it. I just feel very controlled right now, and it's a shitty feeling.
Very shitty.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be controlled anymore.
No.
But I will say, you know, Belle Burden talks about having the prenup, and I never thought our prenup would ever come into play. Like, divorce just kind of, it was talked about in our marriage, but I never thought it would actually come to fruition. Another word for Dave.
Was there a prenup?
Yeah, I had a prenup. You know, my parents said I needed one, and it was very heavily protected, and I'm so thankful for that. But yeah, just going in, having that backbone now to stand on, if whatever happens, at least I know I come out with what I brought in.
You know what? I love that you just brought up the prenup, because I remember as a therapist, people would be so offended when they were asked to sign a prenup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they would be like, I don't want to be with somebody who's going to ask me to do that. But it's actually a good thing in
Just
the end.
normalize it, right?
Yeah. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
You're not hoping for divorce, but, you know, and I felt uncomfortable bringing it up because it was coming from me. But I'm so glad I did that. And rereading it, I'm like, I thought my lawyer sucked, but holy shit, rereading it, I'm like, she put in like everything has to be paid back in cash. Like, okay, like not in assets, which is huge for me because that gives me that financial footing to stand on to start growing.
Right.
Can we talk about your emotional state right now? Or
Yes.
would you rather
Do you
not?
want to talk about my previous emotional state
sorry,
or
can
my
No.
current?
I think that's a beautiful question.
Okay, because, you know, we love you.
Yes.
And it must be a very difficult time.
So it's funny because I'm actually in like a really good place. But as you know, and Caroline unfortunately had to field 500 crying phone calls a day, I was disastrous. I mean, but for years, like this was not good for years. But when it actually happened and he moved out, actually probably when he shut down and went to the guest room, but then when he moved out, disastrous, hysterically crying. The amount of anxiety I had. I called a psychiatrist. I mean, I had Klonopin, and I mean, nothing was working. And I remember crying to Caroline, being like, I just can't feel like this anymore. I don't want to feel like this anymore. And something happened, and I am doing really well. Like, I don't cry anymore. I'm not upset. I feel like this happened for a reason. I have my 3 beautiful children, and obviously there's going to be up and downs in terms of going through the actual divorce because it will take a while, but I'm not in that raw, horrific place that I felt I couldn't dig myself out of before.
And I think that that is so part and parcel of what we talk about, like the psychotherapeutic component of your just pure feel it, get it out so you can move on. So much of us push it down, numb it out, don't want to go there, so afraid to go there, so afraid to feel. You were so courageous. You felt it all. And I really feel like that's why you can rip it from the root and begin to rebuild now.
But not only that, you're empowering yourself because
Right.
you're giving yourself the tools like Lacy's information and all these things that are going to empower you that you didn't have you felt like powerless, obviously,
Yes.
for so long, and you need your power back.
Yeah.
And it feels good to have that back. And I will say that when people are like, oh, are you out there? Are you dating? Like, I'm asking to be fixed up with other divorced women. Like, I want, not for that reason, Dave, calm down.
Damn.
But I want to hear your story. I want to hear how you got through it. I want to hear like the tips and tricks that you can give me. And that divorced women's community is huge. And they are a powerful group, and they'll help you refine your own sense of self-empower.
It's so true. One of my really good friends went through a divorce, and she said that other divorced women came together. They started a group, and it was the most empowering thing. It was really what helped her get through it.
Yeah. And I have a good friend. I don't have a lot of friends. I have 2 friends that have been divorced, and everyone's telling me to wait 5 years and everyone else will catch up. But I remember calling one of my friends, and I was talking to her, and I think she's been divorced for like 6 years. And I was like, I feel like I'm so going to be alone, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you don't need a man. It was my girlfriends that got me through this. And that's exactly how it's been for me. I'm like, invite me out, Caroline, I'm hysterical. She'll come over. Like, whatever it is, my girlfriends were the ones that showed up, which really shows how much we don't need you, Dave. I'm talking to the producer, not my ex-husband. Same name.
Well, I understand that, but as the only truly divorced person in the room whose advice you didn't ask for, it's okay. Really, it's all right.
How do we shut off his mic?
Mute.
No, what for whatever it's worth, the advice I usually give to people is, it's okay to be sad. You're supposed to be sad. It's a fucking sad thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a loss.
And it still is. I've been divorced for like 12 years, and I still think about it. It still makes me sad. And like you say, yeah, it's a loss, and you got to mourn it. But slowly you start, and it seems like you're already there, Allison. You start to see these little moments where it's like, wait a minute, now I get to do what I want, in certain places, certain times. And so, friends and kids. You just kept spending as much time as I could with my kids and friends. And you realize you're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to be, Allison. You're not dependent upon another person. With you never should have been. And we all need to find happiness within ourselves, I think. So
Beautifully
that's my 2 cents.
Beautifully
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. And I think that just because of my previous loss, like my brother and stuff, I think the idea of the divorce, putting this stress on my children when it's a choice, I don't have to, hit me so much harder. I didn't want them to have to feel the loss that I felt as a kid. And obviously horrible and traumatic and really awful for the kids. But I've also been able to be there for them in a way that I didn't know I'd be able to be there. I didn't know I had that strength to take care of them while I was in such a low place. But also it's so different from an actual death and losing my brother, and it hurts for them, but it's not the same. And Dad's still there. He just lives in a different place. And that was a huge realization for me.
Amazing. And also, I come from, my mom was married, I don't know, 5 times.
Oh, really?
You lost count.
The last one, I was like, stop wearing white, bitch.
Secrets out.
Where's
Secrets
Queen?
out.
Okay?
Yeah.
But anyways, seriously, not to make a joke out of it, but kids know.
Yep.
Kids know. They're actually I mean, if you ask adult kids whose parents finally get a divorce, they're like, why didn't you do it sooner? And kids are resilient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kids are resilient. Look at me.
I actually hate that phrase. Like, kids shouldn't have to be resilient.
But they are.
They are, yes.
And maybe you hate it, but the truth is they are.
No, and you know, like, we're getting them the help that they need and taking care of our minds and our bodies. And I think for them, like, after he left, I stopped crying, right? Like, I cried while he was home. Like, please, let's work on this, all this stuff. And then when it kind of hit me that, no, this is over, and I stopped crying, that's when they started doing better with everything. So it wasn't the breakup. It was actually like seeing their mom in pain was hurtful for them.
Absolutely.
Well, and when Dave was saying, like, now you get to do what's best for you, like, I see you setting the tone in the house that you want to set.
It's been so good.
You know, like, you get to create that environment that you want, and that you set that energy out to your children, which I think is such a plus. And I've never really heard people talk about it in that language, but I think it's your little world you get to be the queen of.
I can raise them the way I think is best for them, and the amount of calmness that has taken over our house. And there's still 3 kids, you know, and 2 dogs. It's chaotic, and, you know, people fight all the time, whatever, but it's just on like a different level. There's not this hurricane coming through every day. And, you know, David can create the house that he thinks is best for the kids, and I can create the house that I think is best for the kids. And, you know,
your kids.
Hopefully he does it my way, but he didn't do it during the marriage, so why would he do it now?
The kids, we forget sometimes, are their own people. And when, you know, you think back to when you were in the 5th grade, the 7th grade, or junior in high school, whatever. Your parents weren't the first thing on your mind. Your first thing on your mind is, what am I wearing to school today?
Right. What are my friends doing?
Exactly. They have their own lives. It's always going to be incredibly important for them to have a loving mom, but they're not. We worry about them sometimes, like they are going to be shattered by what happens to us, and we shouldn't be so self-centered, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Totally. And I'm raising them to be adults, right? I'm raising them to grow up and leave me. And be successful on their own. So, you know, my kids have stepped up in helping me with the dishes and taking out the garbage and all those tactile things. But we also have more time to talk and come together as a family because of it's calmer. It's not all this tension in the house. So I hopefully I stay on this path, because it feels much better than when I was hysterically crying and calling people. It would be like, oh, I can't get out of bed, I'm so sad. But
it seems like from over the weeks, today's like a day, definitely see that you have seemed better and more like yourself.
Yeah.
And so thank you again for sharing with us. I know that a lot of people are going through something similar or thinking about it. And so thank you very much.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you both for being there for me. It really changed the whole trajectory of this path that I was on. So I appreciate you guys. And thank you for letting me go to 18 minutes. We might have to take some out of this. All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. That's it for this week's Shortlist. Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it, leave a review, or let us know what's on your short list.
Shorts beyond measure, because the most important things in life can't be quantified.